The goal for this week's trading was consistency in terms of targeting, specifically aiming for 20.25 points, no more, no less, and having my stop no more than 20 points. Alright, let's get into it. Beginning this week, the main focus was consistency in terms of targeting. My target for today was only 20.25 points. A setup formed fairly early and I was able to take advantage of it. You can see the annotations on the chart which points out each of the areas and levels I was looking at while it was forming. Although the order of which I was looking at it goes a bit like this. First, I saw sell-side liquidity get taken on the higher time frame chart, which was the 15 and/or 1 hour chart. Then I went to the smaller time frame charts and located a market structure shift. The 5-minute high stood out to me, but the 1 minute is where I hunted for the fair value gap. I saw price close past that swing high with the fair value gap forming just below it. I put my entry at the high end of that fair value gap and rode it up to that area of liquidity. Pretty straightforward. On to the next day. Just like the previous session, the goal today was consistency in terms of targeting, aimed for 20.25 points, and I got that. Fairly similar setup as yesterday, except going the opposite direction. You can see the annotations there pointing out the things I was looking at before the trade and during the trade. If you remember from this past Wednesday's session, I took a hypothetical trade. I labeled each level that I would have placed each order if I placed an actual order. The reason for this was because of two reasons. I didn't like that the 15-minute had a negative fair value gap, which could have acted as a, quote, resistance. And I didn't like the fact that the quick shift higher past the short-term high closed at the same level as that short-term high instead of past the short-term high. For those two reasons, I didn't place a trade and placed a hypothetical trade instead. Price ended up moving, not nicely, but it moved to the take profit I set without getting stopped out, even as I trailed with my stop. I can be satisfied with that situation because, although I didn't get in, it moved per my analysis. Overall, I was able to remain consistent for this week, which is a huge positive for me. Thursdays and Fridays session, I didn't see any setup that I was willing to take, which is why there was no uploads those days. Didn't feel like it was necessary to upload a non-trading day. As always, let me know if you have any questions. See you next week.